My favorite toy growing up was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord. It had all the different vehicles that you put together. It was dope for show and tell.
My favorite Christmas toy didn't come from Santa, but from my Aunt Sue. She got me a Spider-Man pogo stick, and I would bounce all around the house with it. It was fantastic, until I sprained my ankle.
Well, like a true child of the 90s, my favorite toy I ever got for Hanukkah was a Furby.
The year was 1991, 90210, giant deal. I had the pencil case, lunchbox, sheets, but the 90210 dolls were it. And Donna was so important to me.
I just love this photo, Chance. With Donna from 90210, we love to see it. That was just a few of our friends talking about their favorite toys. I think mine was an American Girl doll. But today we're asking why toys are ingrained in our culture. I mean, think back to your favorite toy for a moment. What was it? And at what age did you give it up? As we get older, some of us feel like we need to cut ties with our toys, but not everyone does. According to one market research company, kidults make up 27% of total toy sales, and it defines a kidult as anyone older than 12. Now, playing with toys doesn't have an age limit, and along with being nostalgic, they can just be a lot of fun. One of our producers is a bit of a kid at heart, so we sent him out to play with one major toy collector.
Lauren, I know you couldn't make it, so they're stuck with me. We're about to meet Bill Leff, an avid toy collector, former stand-up comedian and actor, to show us his collection.
Oh, sounds like she's here. Hello?
Hey Bill, Simon from the Y.
You're not Lauren.
No, she couldn't make it.
Your show is called The Y?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why isn't Lauren here?
Well, it's just gonna be me today. After some haggling, Bill eventually let us in and brought us upstairs to his toy mecca.
This room that we're in right now is heaven. This is my heaven. This is my time machine. When I'm in this room, I call it the office because this is where I get all my work done in here. But there are some distractions, as you can see, to the left, to the right. There's some distractions. When I was a kid, I always got really sad that a toy had a certain expiration date on it, in that it would break, an arm would come off, the head would pop off, something bad would happen. And I always thought, what if somebody was stupid enough to not throw those toys away, but to take care of them, to put them back in their boxes when they were done playing with them, and to save them for the rest of their life so that every time they saw them, they were reminded of themselves when they were 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years old. And then that dumb guy was me. I was the one who decided to do that.
Bill has almost 30,000 toy pieces now, and he showed us some of his favorites, including a set of presidential action figures.
These are the Marx Presidents. They used to come out every 4 years. You'd get them in various grocery stores. So they made everybody from George Washington, who's in the #1 spot right over there, and all the way in the back, you can see Richard Nixon, who's the second from the end. Then they stopped. The company went out of business, Marx Toys, but other collectors, other toy collectors have made the other presidents since then.
And of these presidential action figures, which is your favorite?
Oh boy, well, I've always said that Roosevelt is my favorite, because I don't know if you can see, but he's got a cape on him. And I thought when I was a kid that Roosevelt could fly. And had a big debate with one of my history teachers saying he can obviously fly, because at that point when you're a kid, anyone with a cape has the ability to fly. But Roosevelt, as it turned out, I've done extensive research, could not fly.
You don't win 4 terms without being able to fly.
No. This is the Hot Wheels 50th anniversary set. What they did was they took what they call the Sweet 16. These were the first 16 Hot Wheels cars, and they put them on a display the way that they first came out in the late 1960s. So I was lucky enough to get one of these. Loved Hot Wheels when I was a kid. Every time new ones would come out, my mom would take my brother and I to Tops, which was a department store when I was growing up, and we'd each pick out 1 or 2. And now I've got a bunch of them in the original cards, just like they were with the buttons, just like they were in the late 60s and early 70s. These are made by the Palmolive Company, and they're called Sokies. So they only did 4 of the Universal monsters, but they also did the Beatles, they did Alvin and the Chipmunks, they did Cowboys and Indians and stuff. So what these were you would buy them and you'd have them in the bathtub, and then you'd unscrew their head, take that off, and you had soap inside. Very rare to get the 4 monsters. This was the Johnny West set, and there's a couple of other figures that they made after they made the store display. To put a worth on it right now is a little bit difficult. Here's why. All the figures themselves are worth a lot, and then if you have them in their boxes, they're worth even more. But the store display was so rare, you know, they only sent it to a certain amount of Toys R Us or KB Toys, whatever your toy store was locally, Lionel Toys World in the South. So to have the store display in pretty close to mint condition, it's not an absolute mint condition, but again, it's 50 years old, you know? So something like this is probably worth in the $8,000 to $10,000 range, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less.
For Bill, the toys aren't a financial investment. Their worth is measured in memories and nostalgia.
When I'm in this room, all I can think about is the happiest day of the year, Christmas morning, because this is what it looked like. This is what Christmas looked like, just toys piled up every year. That's the way it is here in this room. Toys are special to me because they're such a work of art, you know? I said to somebody once, if somebody gave me the option of having just a little bit of this collection, or having the Mona Lisa, or having Nighthawks, or you name your favorite painting, I would take the toys because they're so reflective of what once was, what is now, and what will be. Toys are the beginning, the middle, and the end of almost every story. When you're a kid, that's the thing you want most for Christmas. To this day, as Christmas approaches, when I open a box on Christmas morning and it's not a toy, I'm very upset about that. I want a toy, I don't want a sweater.
You are definitely never too old for toys. Our thanks to Bill for opening his home to us. And Bill, I'm sorry I could not make it. I will definitely have to come by soon. All right, up next, he's the man who invented the chattering teeth and the toy gun that shoots soap bubbles. You know what I'm talking about. Eddie Goldfarb is with us to explain where he gets the inspiration for new toys at 101 years old. Don't miss this.